Neither Better Trades or any of its personnel are registered broker-dealers or investment advisors. I will mention that I consider certain securities or positions to be good candidates for the types of strategies we are discussing or illustrating. Because I consider the securities or positions appropriate to the discussion or for illustration purposes does not mean that I'm telling you to trade the strategies or securities. Keep in mind that we are not providing you with recommendations or personalized advice about your trading activities. The information we are providing is not tailored to any particular individual. Any mention of a particular security is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold that or any other security or a suggestion that it is suitable for any specific person. Keep in mind that all trading involves a risk of loss, and this will always be the situation regardless of whether we are discussing strategies that are intended to limit risk. Also, Better Trades personnel are not subject to trading restrictions. I and others at Better Trades could have a position in a security or initiate a position in a security at any time.
Hello, and welcome out to Market Insights. We're going to do the big guys right now. And I know it is. I wish I had a good excuse. I mean, I've been busy, and I know I've told you here that I got married. Now we're moving. We found a house to move to, so that works for both of us. So life's been pretty hectic, and so I apologize for being. I'm trying desperately to get on track. So it is challenging. So anyway, with that being said. And I think this quote kind of hit me, and that's part of the reason. It was that. So don't join the easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectation, demand to perform are high. And there's no other place that I can think of where the demands to perform and the expectations are anywhere higher than in the market, than trading. And it is extraordinarily challenging. So the fact that you're doing it, even if you're not where you want to be yet, the fact that you are putting in the effort and the time and the energy shows that you're not part of the easy crowd. The easy crowd quits. The easy crowd bails, like, oh, this is too much, I can't handle it. I'm going to go back to a regular job. That's the easy crowd. And if you've been around this long, you have grown, you have learned something about yourself. And even if I was just thinking about this today, even if you haven't made money in the market, but you have grown personally, and I was thinking about it because of all the personal growth in my life, in my personal life. Looking at my marriage, I know I've talked here about my failed marriage, and comparing those to the market and learning the lessons from trading that are necessary to have a successful relationship as well as success in trading. No idea what that is. No, keep the current color scheme. So it's interesting the growth that I've had. I was just thinking about my personal growth, and I go, even if I hadn't made a dime trading, even if there were no profits, then I would still be happy. Even if it costs money, it's fine. I mean, it would be worth it because of the personal growth I've had. Because the demands are high in the market. So enough said about that. Let's get on to some charts. And finally, some decent looking opportunities. The market's getting a little more, it's kind of going sideways the last few days. And so it looks like we're getting possibly some setups. It seems to be starting to slow down, which is no surprise. And so we've gotten some decent patterns that popped up. Still only had 16. I think last week we had, 12 or 13. We got 16, but there was a lot more. I think I had 50 or 55 as far as patterns go. It's just a lot of them were in the middle of a range, or there's like a bearish engulfing pattern after the stock's been on a run for a long time, and it's not likely to turn around. There's no resistance. There's no clear entry point there. So I left those off basically, but we'll roll through these pretty quick. Just looking at different things. The ADI. You can see the downtrend is in place still. It started in 15, middle of 15, and it is it broke out a few days ago, and it's still kind of sitting above it. But what I'm looking for is a break to the downside. And one thing to be cautious of, as you can see here, is we've got the 200 days sitting right at the old resistance of basically 57. So if it breaks down and enter, we got to be cognizant of that and make sure that we take that into account with respect to the trading plan and stops. Or scaling even. So keep that in mind. Allstate. This one looking for a break. This is not my favorite. We had an evening star there, and then we got a doji. And so there's several different things that could be happening here. This thing, it could be in a position to reverse. This is the hard part is if it reverses and continues to drop, then the evening star would be validated. But what we could also have here is the beginnings of a rising through methods. So it's going to depend. If it gaps down a little bit tomorrow and then rallies all day, we'd have a rising through methods. In which case, if we had a rising through methods, there'd really be no trade there because the exit would be way here below support there, 65.70. So basically what I'm looking at is if we get a down day, especially if it breaks 65.70, then we're probably going to go down to about 64, 63.5, 64, somewhere in there. So this may take a few days to develop. Alexion Pharmaceuticals, a bullish candidate, which some of the pharmaceuticals were bullish the last few days. So interesting to see that they've taken off. So this one very well could. If it breaks to the upside, there we go. Notice the lines are still jumping. I'm going to try doing an upgrade again after I'm done here and see if that fixes it because those lines are jumping are still kind of annoying. You think they'd have that done by now. And I haven't done an upgrade for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So if this makes a move to the upside, I think and that's a good 6-7 points of potential there. Amazon. Got a double top. This is the pattern that I saw is the double top there. It broke the midpoint right here. It did challenge it yesterday, maybe got a tiny bit above it. But if this thing rolls over, especially if it breaks down of the old support there at 543, there's definitely some potential. And here's the thing is that 543 to 520, it's not even 10 points. On a $500 stock's nothing. I mean, that could be a one-day move easily. But what I would also consider is if this is something that pops and you enter the trade, 124, 125, or 525, excuse me, would be a scale out point, depending on how quickly and how rapidly it's moving. I mean, as you can see here, it dropped 575 to 475. It's a whole 100 points in a week and a half. Don't know that that will happen again, but if it did, you'd probably want to capture most of it, right? So 525 is more of a scale out point, depending on what the action looks like. Bristol Myers, another pharmaceutical, looks fairly bullish. It's bounced here. Got kind of, not quite a bullish engulfing pattern, but then a couple days of sideways move. So let's see the dividends coming out here in a few days. So that may affect it a little bit, but typically dividends don't have a very big effect. So I usually don't even worry about it. So Burlington Stores. This used to be the Burlington Coat Factory. Then they went away from coats and started selling everything. And I believe they're transitioning into like a TJ Maxx type of store. It's interesting to see. I had never really gone to those stores. And my wife loves them. And I had no idea. So now I've been into them quite a bit. But they've got a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of deals. And it's interesting to see it's kind of a conglomeration of just a bunch of stuff. It's like they get a whole bunch of closeout stuff. I mean, they have food items in there, and then they have frames, and they have a little bit of furniture. They have little trinkets, little houseware type of stuff, and then they have clothes and jewelry. And I mean, it's like a major department store on a smaller scale with discounted items. And my wife likes to get little trinkets and stuff that just little things for the home or gifts. She'll get gifts for the kids. And so anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting to see that. And I think Burlington's going that same direction. They're doing the exact same type of thing. So, but anyway, it's looking right now. We have that evening star. We got a little bit of confirmation yesterday. And the only thing that's worrisome here is the light volume. So if it continues down, it's a little bit outside the entry point, probably too much. So we'll see what it does. Comcast. Come on, get those lines jumping. There we go. Comcast came down and hit we got that downtrend, very similar to, what was it, ADI, Analog Devices, I think it was. In 15 it started, the downtrend. And here we are going to downtrend. Bearish engulfing pattern a few days ago. We almost hit the downtrend line. Bearish engulfing, and then we've got a pretty solid support there at 59.58 that it is challenging. So if it breaks down from here, got about $4 of potential. So looking pretty good. CVX. Another evening star with a hangman, another follow-through day. Light volume, not necessarily a great thing, but and this is Chevron. So if oil drops back off, then I think the market will as well. I think that's the main reason the market has recovered the way it has, is because oil has been recovering. Not sure if that's going to keep up or not. We'll see. So, DaVita. And I guess now, in the interest of full disclosure, I need to say this. My wife works at this company. So she's a financial analyst of all things. She does accounting, basically accounting type of stuff for them. But so she's not an insider. It's a huge company, huge company. So, but it seems like a fairly good company. I don't know that much about it yet, but what I know is that if I can make some money off it, I'm gonna. And I forgot to draw this. A lot of times I'll see this stuff and just not draw it because I get in the habit of just looking and glancing. And there we go. Interesting. Perfect, actually. So there's the interesting part. If it breaks up, and this, I believe, is the reason I was looking at the upside, is the indicators are still looking pretty bullish because this could go either way. We're at the downtrend line, so very easily could turn around and tank, but it could also break to the upside. So if it breaks to the upside, then we've got a breakout of the trend. And also, I believe it was a 200 right there, right? Yeah, the 200's right there. It's about halfway to the target, so we've got to be cautious of that. If this breaks down, then we can flip it over and see what happens. So, Electronic Arts. Double top. You can see it there on a line chart a lot easier. Kind of like Amazon, but we've got a double top there. And again, I should probably draw these, but I don't know if it's even coming into play right now. Maybe it is. Not quite. So if it breaks down, that's really what I'm looking for, is the pattern of the double top, breaking the midpoint right there at 63. If it does, we got a target of 59.89. So yeah, about $2, a little more than $2 maybe, $1.80, whatever that is. MAC, M-A-C, Mattress Real Estate REIT. This is one that's basically kind of in a channel. Not my favorite, as you all know, but might be something there. It's got to pop back up a little bit, so this is probably one of the least favorite ones. We've got a double top going on there as well. So it's interesting to see that several double tops show up. It's not the only one. Lots of those have shown up. Northern Trust, weekly. What's going on here? How come that's so high? Oh, that's why, because the highs of the day. I was like, that doesn't look right, but it is. The entry point is right on the line, which not a big fan of, but it is what it is. Not a huge range. I mean, for a 60-point stock, you got $3. It's only 5%. That's not terrible, but the stop is up pretty high because of the shadows. So I put it up there a little further away. So gives it a little room to roam. Procter & Gamble was this came up last night. I was watching there's a show I've discovered in the last few weeks called The Profit. It's on CNBC. It's kind of like Shark Tank. I don't know if you've all seen Shark Tank, but I mean, it's the same overall, big picture concept. The guy's Marcus Lemonis, I think his name is. He is a business guy, and he goes into failing businesses and basically turns them around. He invests his own money. He takes equity stake for that. So kind of like the sharks, they watch a business proposal. They offer, their capital, and they want in return a stake in the company. This is what he does, except that he shows up to one specific business that is not making it, or not where they want to be, and they basically want his expertise. And so he'll go in and just shake things up. And he went into one yesterday. It was very interesting. It's an hour-long show. And if you get into the business stuff, then it's interesting. If business is no interest to you, then you're probably not going to care at all. But he goes into this company called EcoMe. They're doing about $500,000 a year. Excuse me. And there's a lady that started it. She brought on her friend as the salesperson, gave her a small equity stake. They've been at this for 6 years now, and they're not making money and have tons of debt. I mean, they're basically breaking even. So they're not profitable. The sales lady hadn't taken a paycheck in 2 years. They're up to their eyeballs in debt. I think I said that. And so he came in and, he's the type of, it's business. It's just, hey, here's what's up. And so there was a lot of I hate to say drama, but it's what it was with the women. Excuse me. The owner was a self-admitted control freak. She said, I'm a control freak, and it's hard for me to give her the reins. This is my baby. She created it. Her sister had gotten cancer, and she went into her house to clean while she was doing the treatment and found all the stuff there and was like, this stuff's terrible. And was starting to wonder if maybe that's why her sister got cancer. So she developed some eco-friendly and healthier cleaning solution type of stuff. And looked like a great product. But Marcus comes in and says, he looks at everything, he evaluates the business, he asks people questions, and then he makes an offer. And he offered $500,000 for 20%. And so what he'll do a lot of times, especially now that he's an owner, he'll pay off a lot of the old debt. He will buy new equipment. He'll do a whole bunch of stuff to get the business to where it should be. Because he has an equity stake. Why wouldn't he, right? It makes sense. But he also comes in and says, for the next week, I'm in charge. And that's where it gets interesting. But anyway, not to go on and on. If you've seen the show, you might get bored. But so yeah, it was challenging last night because he went with this lady that was sales. She was terrible at sales, absolutely terrible. And he flat out finally told her. He goes, "You're not good at it. It's just not one of your things." And she got all upset, and broke down, and cried. What do you? I mean, why are you so upset? This is business. You stink at it. And if y'all know the difference between men and women, and women typically react emotionally a lot of times. For guys, it's like, okay, so I stink. All right. So how do I get better? Women take it personally, and I'm speaking generally. And she got all upset, started crying. Okay, but this is what I do. I'm good at sales. Like, no, you're not. If you want some training, then yeah, we'll get you good at sales, but you stink at it. And she did. I've been in sales my whole life, and she was terrible at it, absolutely terrible. And but anyway, so they changed the bottle. They changed a bunch of different things about it. But it's interesting from a business perspective, if you like that kind of stuff. But I was trying to figure out, why did I bring that up? What was that score all about? P&G. That's what it was. Because they were changing the label on the bottle, because the label that they had was a bunch of pastel colors. It was very all over the place. They're like little square box of different colors, and it just wasn't appealing to the eye. And then they had these they put certain names on certain products. And this is Bob, or Bob Says Hi, or Mia, or something like that. Created by Mia. And it was really weird. And Marcus even goes, "What's this?" Like, well, it's it's our relatives. It's who created it. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, "I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me." He goes, "What's up with this stuff?" He goes, "If I saw this on a store shelf, I wouldn't buy it, because it's too busy. There's too much this." And I'd say, "Who's Bob?" And so they redesigned the bottle, and the owner lady got kind of upset. She goes, "I don't like it." He had a graphic designer do this whole thing, and people that's their specialty. And I don't like it. I don't like the green. I don't look like this. It feels too much like P&G, the Procter and Gamble. And Marcus looks at her, he kind of chuckles. He goes, "That's a $9 billion company. And you don't want to follow what they do?" It was kind of funny. I just chuckled about it. So when I saw the P&G, it reminded me of that last night. And obviously I went down a long road with that. But it's a great show if you have a business mind. So it's called The Profit. It's on CNBC. It's pretty good. There's another one I just saw advertised too with was it John Paul something that created what's the hair? It's a hair care. He started with that. Paul Mitchell. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, he started Paul Mitchell, and then he started Patron Tequila. He's a business guy, and he starts companies of things that he loves. So, but getting back to stocks, Procter and Gamble, we've got basically another double top showing up here. And so if it does break down, if it breaks below that 82.07, then have a decent chance of getting a couple bucks there. Excuse me. Cough's almost gone. I swear this time. It's been, 3 or 4 months I've been saying that. But really, it's feeling a lot better right now. So Starbucks, same thing. Downtrend we've had for several months. And we hit it a couple days ago. We've dropped off. We're holding that line there at 59. But if it breaks below that, probably a decent chance it's going to drop off. I like the looks of that one. VF, another kind of double, triple top, almost a double evening star type of pattern. Little increase in volume the last day there. So we'll see what happens. It's a little bit outside the entry point. Unless you could pull the stop down and adjust it a little bit. Funny thing is, it's probably not going to bring enough to get in unless it pops back up. So I always figure, why not just wait? Usually a few pennies adjustments doesn't do much. And last but not least, and we'll wrap up, Wells Fargo. Again, this is a rollover, actually. We had this last week or 2 weeks ago, I think. Inverted head and shoulders, broke out, pulled back, tapped it, and it's rallying. It's above that level of that $50 level. Question is, will it hold it and continue higher? Remains to be seen as of right now. So we'll wait and figure it out. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Say thank you for hanging out and having some fun. And we will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.